Back in the ghost town days, McCarthy community life was often dominated by intense feuds and conflicts. It got so bad between two neighbors living in McCarthy that if one neighbor let their guard down, the other might seize on the opportunity, dash over to their enemy's garden, and begin ripping vegetables out of the ground. These and other stories were chronicled by Tom Kazaya in his celebrated and acclaimed new book, Cold Mountain Path. When the WMC was in its infancy in the 1970s and 80s, there were intense debates about whether the beauty and integrity of this place could be preserved while still supporting a small human community. The early WMC visionaries sought to find a new path between strict conservationism and those who advocated for unrestricted development and exploitation. Tom also writes about this ideological struggle and the WMC impact on the community. In my interview with him for Season 2 of our End of the Road podcast, I asked Tom for his take on our role in the development of the community. In retrospect, I asked, did the WMC get it right? I'm at Ed LaChapelle's workshop on the west side of the Wrangell Mountains Center campus. Ed continues to inspire us. We come across his writings and diagrams, articles that he clipped, and of course projects that he was working on. And many of these things are evidence of Ed's lifelong commitment to environmental sustainability and green technology. And we are carrying on in Ed's trajectory. This summer, we made major upgrades to our energy infrastructure to update our off-grid power and water systems with more effective and efficient technologies. We installed collection tanks to more effectively harvest rainwater for our gardens. And we began a project to update our entire power system so that we can take full advantage of our abundant solar resources to provide power to our educational facilities. And if that were not enough for summer facilities projects, our highly motivated, ingenious summer staff took the initiative to design and install 2 beautiful new garden beds in front of the old hardware store using repurposed logs from a woodshed that collapsed under the weight of last winter's mind-boggling snowpocalypse. We are rebuilding, but also in a period of restarting. Ed, I'm sure, would be happy that we resumed the 10-day International Glacier School program this summer, a program that brings in glaciologists from across the globe. We are also in the process of restarting our flagship field studies program. Our prior institutional partner was unable to sustain our program, but we are currently involved in very productive discussions with new potential partner institutions, anticipating a resumption of our field studies program in the summer of 2024. Ed and his partner Meg Hunt were also involved in the community, and this summer we swung the door wide open to the community with word jams, author readings, lectures, and other arts programming, including our first ever art gallery featuring the work of Luke McKinney. I think of the WMC as something of a de facto community arts venue where we catalyze the talent of local artists and visiting creatives to provide a hub for sharing work, a place for local residents and out-of-town visitors to connect with this place in the special way that only art can facilitate. We capped off the summer with a 3-day storytelling festival, expanding out to McCarthy's west side for some outdoor storytelling, thanks to our partners Chena and Nick Merlino, Glacier View Campground, and McCarthy River Tours. It was grassroots storytelling at its finest, and you can catch some of these stories on our podcast. This summer, we also restarted our youth programming with our popular Mountain Arts and Science for Youth program, thanks to a sponsorship from the local Blackburn Heritage Foundation. And with our WISE partners, that's the Wrangell Institute for Science and Environment, we also resumed our youth geology camp. We hosted 4 artists for residencies as we resumed our formal application process for our very popular Artist in Residence program. One of our artists, Cassandra Mirosh, stayed upstairs in Meg Hunt's dance studio and was inspired enough to leave behind a piece of art in Meg's honor. We partnered with Kristen Link to resume her very popular field sketching and journaling workshop. And as fate would have it, a writer from the New York Times was attending the program and did a write-up on Kristen and the workshop, capturing much of what makes us tick at the WMC, especially our passion for immersive wilderness experiences here in the Wrangell Mountains. We also restarted the Wrangell Mountains Writing Workshop with a grant from the Alaska State Council on the Arts, and we added a photography workshop and welcomed back Nancy Cook and the River Song family, among many other programs. All of this summer's events and programming was made possible by a very committed, very energetic staff who were eager to continue on in the legacy of the WMC. Through it all, myself and the board of directors are committed to building long-term fiscal sustainability. It has been a challenge, especially emerging from the pandemic and coming on the heels of a number of lean financial years where we lacked for consistent staffing and revenue. But we are continuing the work of making this organization financially strong so that future generations of artists and scientists, explorers and future leaders can all benefit from this unique community and the special programs that we run at the Wrangell Mountains Center. This is what your donations support, and you stand with us in a long tradition of doing good. We rely on a large number of small donations, so your contribution is greatly appreciated, whatever the amount. We stretch your dollars and put them to good use, and your contribution will be matched during this holiday season by generous donors who share in our vision of a direct, transformative experience with this extraordinary place. So, did the WMC get it right? Did we get it right all those years ago in regards to a middle way that would seek to preserve and conserve this special place, while still maintaining a small, healthy human community? Tom Kazaya answered in the affirmative, speaking highly of the WMC's early involvement in these issues. He said that there was an intellectual rigor associated with the field study students that came in the early 1970s. The WMC advocated for a path of cooperation, and Tom's take is that this had a big part in keeping the divisions down and keeping a much more positive attitude. The Wrangell Mountains Center helped to bring about so many of the good things that we love and value about today's Kennecott McCarthy community, where residents respect and care for the land. This same spirit of cooperation still animates our board and staff leadership to this day. The community has evolved and changed, of course, but our commitment is still to this place. Both the wild world and the sometimes quite wild human community. We connect people with wildlands through art, science, and education in Alaska. That's our organizational mission, and it's the foundation for connecting in a meaningful way with each other and with our human community, as we share this extraordinary place together and celebrate how these connections can transform us and our world.